live. Hi, Said. If you want to come on here and sing, you can. So I'm on my laptop as well if it looks like I'm looking in two different places. I just know it's been a while since I've done this. I hope everyone enjoyed their summer. I feel like I haven't come on here in so long. Um, I don't really have much to say, to be honest. So I'm just on here if you guys have questions. Now is the time to ask. I can just tell you a few things that I have going on while I await somebody to jump in and ask some questions. So we are gearing up for, hi, John. We're gearing up for the Develop the Artist Within You conference that's coming November 4th and 5th. And I'm very excited because I have so far 4 people who are doing the 20-minute live recordings. So I'm coaching them through a 20-minute live set, and then they're going to record it, video recording and audio recording, the evening of November 4th. So I'm really excited for them, just to be able to put their artistry on full display in that way, as well as the actual conference that is going to be November 5th. So for you guys that are in the Atlanta area or want to be in the Atlanta area, I highly encourage that you come. It's going to be awesome. Also, I am doing a 1 month special on my voice lessons. So if you guys are interested in that, you can look at my page and see more information. So somebody actually has a question. So the question is, how do you learn to sing from your diaphragm and not your throat? I think that has to obviously be intentional. Um, Sometimes because our voice box is in our throat, I think sometimes we automatically assume that we have to use our pharyngeal muscles, the pharynx, the throat muscles, to support the voice. And in some way, the throat is involved, but for the most part, we want the muscles of the pharynx to be generally relaxed. And the diaphragm, and it's not just the diaphragm, it's the abdominals, it's the intercostal muscles, the muscles between the ribs. All of those things conspire to support the air. And what we're really doing is managing the air as it leaves our bodies, pacing the air as it leaves our bodies, because breathing for singing is very different from breathing for speaking. So with speech, it happens a lot faster, but with singing, it's usually over longer periods of time. So then we have to learn how to pace how that air leaves our body. And breathing exercises are great for that. And also, that's what vocal exercises are for. And I would challenge you to just kind of make those breathing and vocal exercises longer and longer and longer. And that's how you learn to support the voice with your diaphragm versus your throat. So thank you so much for asking. I took a melatonin and it's kicking in. So if I sound like I'm slow, it's because that's what's happening. How do you redefine your style as a singer once your voice has changed? Example, lost range. How do you redefine it? You know, I think somebody who is constantly redefining their sound is Beyonce. I don't think she's lost as much range as um, maybe she wants us to think she's lost, but I don't think she wants us to know how much range she's lost. So she gets ahead of it and just kind of lowers the keys of her song. She changes the style. If you notice, she doesn't really do a lot of ballads anymore. She doesn't do things that leave her feeling very naked vocally. She focuses in on her strength. She's really good at runs. She has a really nice tone. And so a nice tone is a nice tone. It doesn't have to, you don't have to sing a high pitch for a nice tone to be heard. So she sings pretty much where she speaks, and she takes advantage of the fact that she has agility. And so, once you lose range, if range is all you have, that's not a whole lot. You want to have a beautiful tone and you want to have an agile voice and a flexible voice. And so agility and flexibility come with any range of notes. So I would say to focus on that. So that's a good question. Hi, Sean. What is the Alexander technique? I know it's a breathing technique, and I could be wrong, but I think it's the technique where you're breathing through your nose and your mouth at the same time. I have tried it. You feel like you're fighting for your life. Like imagine drowning and trying to get air in, and you're like, that's what the Alexander technique is. I don't think I need it necessarily, but I mean, I guess it would be good if you're like meditating or something. But I just don't see how. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't see how that works in singing. I don't know if I'm interested in employing that in my singing necessarily. But good question, Natasha. Thank you for asking. Good question. Does anyone else have any other questions? Good question, and I hope I answered it. There it is. Hi, Shane. You know, where is my road towel? There it is. I just came on here and wanted to know if anyone had any questions. I've probably just been talking all day, so my voice is a little tired. I'm tired, but I haven't been on here in a while, so I wanted to say hello. And while I wait for you guys to ask questions, yeah, I just wanted to say again, if you are interested in doing a 20-minute set, we're recording. So those recordings that you guys see of me with a live band and with oh my goodness, talk to Lisa. You have live band, you have lighting, you have all of that stuff. I'm setting that up for 5 of my students. So if that's something that you are interested in, definitely hit me up. I'm excited to. Oh my God. I'm excited to be a bridge for your professional lives. Excuse me. But if you guys don't have any questions, I will gladly let you guys go. I think the questions that you had were great. You need my feedback on your EP. I had no idea you released an EP. Yes, the Develop the Artist Within You conference is in person in Atlanta, November 4th and 5th. Yes, it's definitely in person. So Lisa, how do you take care of your speaking voice? If you have a bad speaking technique, like some languages are more back. Yeah, I had to learn how to take care of my speaking voice because, I come from a culture with a very dark way of speaking. I think for me, because I had really good singing technique and really bad speaking technique, I had to marry my speaking voice to my singing voice. Singing isn't what tired me out. Talking tired me out because I talked on a very low pitch. I spoke with a lot of force. I had very unbalanced onsets. And so I had to kind of start speaking on a higher pitch with a more balanced onset, with my throat already open, with more support. And that helped. So pretty much taking the concepts of healthy singing and employing them in my speech helped me have healthier speech, and it helps my singing voice. I don't know, have more endurance. I guess if that's the way I want to say it. It's late, but yeah, it takes concerted effort for sure. Where can I sign up for voice lessons? Go to my name. See how it says Dileesa? Go to delisa.com or email me, delisa@gmail.com. I know for those of you that are on YouTube, I don't really think I have any straight lines to my site anymore, but it's delisa.com. Hi, Dayon. Yeah, Jess, no problem. No problem at all. There was definitely an issue for me. How am I doing tonight? I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Studio anxiety. So, okay, so wait, you released an EP? I'm still there. Um, I think studio anxiety, I think that's one of those things that you just get better at it the more you do it. And honestly, for me, um, I think knowing what you're good at and getting good at singing makes you feel better in the studio. I've noticed a lot of singers that are, I hate to say, church singers, they struggle in the studio because church is like you're in this huge room and you're competing against a lot of different elements. And then, of course, you have the audience participation factor, and all of those things can really make up for technique that may be lacking. In the studio, everything is heard. And of course, the engineer can make up for technique that's lacking. But for those singers who don't necessarily want to rely on the engineer to make up for technique that's lacking, then all the studio is a mirror of how you've always sounded. And so I feel like if you want to get better, then you need to um, get voice lessons so that you can start patching up those areas, those gaps in your technique. Because it's not that you're not a good singer, it's just there are certain gaps and it just becomes glaringly obvious once you get into the studio, you know? Like I said, engineers work wonders, but if you don't want to be an engineered vocalist, then you're just gonna have to work on your voice. If you have anxiety, Sam Epps, what if you have anxiety in general, both singing in studio and live? You know, I could give you all the, breathing techniques and the one, two, threes and all that, but there's really nothing to it but to do it. Nothing to it but to do it. Keep putting yourself in the scenario to have to do something. And no matter how uncomfortable you are at first, you'll become more and more comfortable. That first time is always going to be the least comfortable you are. And then every time from there, it's going to chip away at that discomfort. So even if you don't really like it anymore, you're not going to be anxious about it. You just maybe don't like it. You know what I'm saying? There are certain things we've gotten good at that we don't like, but we're confident that we can do it because we've done it so much. And I think that as adults, we need to give ourselves that grace to keep showing up and keep doing it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in a super formal space. I would take advantage of karaoke's. Um, I would take advantage of singing in the congregation in church. I would take advantage of just any random moment to sing, singing in the car with the windows down, singing while walking, singing with people in the car, with children, with adults. Hi, Caleb. All of those things chip away. They chip away at that anxiety because you're throwing yourself into all these different scenarios. hmm For some reason, when I sing, my back hurts too sometimes. I don't think that's anxiety. I think that's just using your back muscles to support your voice. How to practice. So here's my philosophy on high notes. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing any how to practice higher notes without hurting the vocal folds. So here's my philosophy on that. My philosophy is, and this should be any good teacher's philosophy, by the way. This is not unique to Delisa, or it shouldn't be anyway. Sorry, there's something on my head. So the philosophy is that high notes come from the work we do in the middle of our voice. So when we learn to access the middle of our voice properly, we learn to access it in a nice forward way, in a free way. The tongue is relaxed, the pharynx is relaxed, the soft palate is high, the breath pressure is beautiful. What naturally happens over time is we gain access to higher notes and lower notes. So we're widening our range on both sides of the spectrum simply because our technique has improved. So we don't we don't try to gain high notes by literally pushing our voices up, knowing that we have tension. You don't strengthen your voice by singing through tension. There's no such a thing. Okay? You learn to release tension in the middle of the voice. And the part that it probably doesn't even hurt to have tension. So that's why it's important to have a vocal teacher, because sometimes you don't realize there's tension, or the tension you feel you don't think is a big deal until you try to sing high and then you feel it, or until you try to sing low and then you feel it. So you'd be like, you don't even notice you're doing it because it doesn't hurt. So a lot of times that it takes somebody else to say, hey, you're actually tense right there, and that's affecting 6 notes down the road. So let's fix this here. So that's the best answer to your question, I feel. How to balance power and beauty? I feel like you're asking more about like the singer's formant, like what's the hertz or whatever that a voice rings in the most beautifully. Um, and I think for every pitch, there's a formant where the voice just rings. And I think as singers, we need to find what that is, and we'll know it when we feel it and when we hear it. It's almost like you're asking shouting versus belting. And I think it has everything to do with the position of the tongue, the throat, and the soft palate, because I feel like those are going to affect how the chords come together and how the resulting sound is coming out of your mouth. I find your question interesting only because when I think of beauty, I think that should be inherent in the instrument. Like either something is beautiful or it's not. You can always improve tone in the sound in the sense of like harsh versus warm, but something that's beautiful just is. So, I don't know. Hey, boy with a glass heart. Hi, Bree. Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed. I Yes, it is considered singing in the mass. Going back to the singing, singing forward, good placement, all of that stuff, that is considered singing in the max. Absolutely. Have you thought of audition? No, I have not. Don't you have to be famous to audition for the Masked Singer? I'm not famous. Is it bad for one to sound breathy? It is not ideal vocal technique. I have, let me see what this person's talking about. Technically, I am famous. I don't think so. I would know if I were famous. Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Ready to sing a song.
Oh, that's exciting. What are you going to sing?
Drown My Own Tears by Ray Charles.
Okay. Is your name Leo?
Brian.
Brian. Okay, because it's like BG Leo or something like that. So I just went with Leo. Brian.
Okay. It brings a tear into my eyes when I begin.
Hold on. Can you lower the music just a little bit? Because it's like competing with you a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
How's that?
Yeah, that should be better.
Since you've been gone, I guess I'll just drown in my own tears, in my own tears. I sit and cry, just like a child. These open tears, they're running wild. Oh, if you don't think you'll be home soon, I guess I'll just drown, oh yeah, in my own tears, yeah. I know it's true that into each life little sunlight, some rain, oh, it must fall. I said I'm so blue here without you. It keeps on raining more and more. Oh, why don't you come on home? Oh yeah, so I won't be alone if you don't think you'll be home soon. I guess I'll just drown. Oh, don't leave me when I'm in trouble, baby.
Okay, so can I stop you here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I mean, I feel like I've told you this before. I think you have a really nice voice. Of course, you have a beautiful voice. I think though what I would love for you to work on is more artistic intention.
Mm-hmm.
In the area of dynamics, because I think the runs you're doing are probably very similar to how Ray sang the song initially.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to tell you, oh, you did too many runs or anything like that. I just think dynamic wise, I don't think I know this song, but what I know of Ray Charles, he was probably belting. So it had a different feel to it, almost like a cry or a wail. And I'm not getting wailing from you. So I feel like the impact is lost.
Okay.
And so I want you to approach music thinking about the impact. Like, how do I want to leave people feeling? What do I want them to feel when I sing this?
Okay.
You know, and I like when I hear this, I want you to know that it's supposed to impact me as like a wail, a cry, and approach it with that in mind and see how that changes your choices, how it informs your
Okay.
choices.
All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Okay. Yeah, yeah, those minor runs, I wish I could do them more. They're hard. Let's see. You guys are so sweet. You think I'm famous. My friends tell me I'm famous too. I just it's like, okay. If you have if you have air passing through the vocal cords, is it still possible to transition from head to chest voice? Air is always passing through the vocal cords. So when you're transitioning from head voice to chest voice, what you're really transitioning from is cricothyroid dominant to thyroid retinoid dominant. The air is always passing through the vocal folds. That's how the voice vibrates, is the air passing through the vocal folds. But the actual, don't get me to start lying. There's the vocalis muscle, and I feel like I'm going to miss a muscle. But there's the vocalis, the cricothyroid, thyroid retinoids, the arytenoids. I feel like there's another one that I'm forgetting. But the point is, the vocalis and the thyroid retinoid, I believe, are the two that conspire to create chest voice. And so it's really a matter of engaging a different muscle function. So that being said, people transition from head voice to chest voice all the time. All the time. Some people are better at it than others. I think Whitney was one of the best. She did it so fast. I've been studying bel canto and it changed my voice entirely. I never knew, considering the middle voice, the voice would help me so much. Absolutely. That is your voice, right? Your modal voice. I haven't talked about the Singers Agency. So I have a new company with Nina Burgess. I always say that wrong. Nina Burgess. It's called the Singers Agency. And we are doing a workshop October 8th. So you guys can go to my link tree and you'll see there, I believe it's $45. We're doing a 2-hour workshop. She is a professional singer, background vocalist. And we are going to do a workshop just talking about vocal health, the industry, professionalism, what to expect in being a professional BGV singer on set, all of that good stuff. We can't wait to answer your questions and just kind of give you guys insight. So we would love for you guys to be a part of that. I want to come and be taught how to use my vocal cords. Come on, come on. That was so ugly. I'm ready to go to bed. I'm sorry. Jazzy. Okay, all right. So I'm probably gonna answer like one more question. Okay, somebody wants to come on my live. You guys, I just want you to know I took a melatonin an hour ago, so I'm already asleep. Hi. Is your name Bridjane?
Bridjane, yes.
Bridjane. Okay.
Yes.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Are you gonna sing for me? You gonna sing for me?
Yes, I do. I want you to see how my vocals are, okay? And do acapella too. All right. Love. So many things I've got to tell you, but I'm afraid I don't know how. Because there's a possibility that you look at me differently. Love. It was just the first moment I spoke your name. From then on, I knew that by you being in my life, things were destined to change. Cause love, though I faith in you, sometimes go astray. Love,
those who have faith in you.
Sometimes go astray. Love, for better or worse, I still will choose you first. Something like that.
You nervous?
Yes, I am, because like you're just so great, and then like when I get in front of people that are so great, I be like.
The crazy thing is, I only sing good. Well, I just sang sucky a couple seconds ago, but I only sing good on my own lives too. Like if I go on someone else's live, I'm just like, oh no, where's my breath? I can't do. I don't think I can sing.
I hate when I get nervous on live.
What key should I choose? Am I gonna crack? Yeah. You have a gorgeous voice. You know what I would say though? I would say back off a little bit of the breath support. It's too much for those pitches.
Okay.
You're making the pitch sound a lot lower than it is.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, are you sure it makes sense? Because I can show you the difference.
Okay, can you show me the difference too?
Okay.
Yes.
Love, for better or worse, I still will choose you first. Right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of breath. There's a lot of breath pressure. It's like, I need to know. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, for better or worse, I still will choose you first. Oh, the note is there. But you don't have to open your throat a whole lot. Lower notes don't need as much space, and they don't need as much energy. They don't need as much breath pressure. So back off. The lower it gets, make your throat actually smaller. And it'll sound way more speech-like and more effortless.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming on.
No problem.
All right.
Thank you.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Well, here's the thing, right? Somebody said, okay, so this is what somebody said. I do like that dark husky sound that Brandy and Tony are known for, even though it's a choice. Okay, they're known for it. Yes. And here's my thing. If you want to have a husky sound, it's always better when it is a choice and not just like, that's the only thing I know how to do. All I know is the sound is low, so I gotta reach down. You don't have to. The sound is right there, you know? Yeah. I think that's all I got for tonight, guys. Hi, Gavin, with your singing self. Thank you. You sing so good. And your bel canto is just gorgeous. And then your gospel is gorgeous. Your instrument is amazing. I enjoy seeing your journey. Jada's on here. Hi, Jada. Caleb, yes, I was letting people sing, but I think I need to retire for the evening. Okay, I will go ahead and you guys are so sweet. I will mention the master. You know what? Before I'm gonna mention the master class again, and maybe I'll take one other person. So hang on, because you always want to have announcements and then you know. Anyways, so my master class that I'm doing, it's a master class for the singers agency. Um, and basically it's like vocal hygiene, vocal technique, and also basic professionalism. You know, we started a company, and what we're noticing is there are a lot of people who want to be professional singers, and there's a lot that they're missing. Like, how do we know you're professional? Do you have anything online that says you're a professional singer? Are you singing? Or do you need some training, before you get there? So that's what we're here for. We want to provide you with the training so that we can put you on our roster and, get you booked and get you shows. And in order to do that, we also want to give you insight into like what it takes, to be a professional. Excuse me, what it takes to be a professional singer. And to get called back over and over again. What is the type of professional that people want to work with? That's going to make the company look good, make yourself look good, make you hireable to like a whole bunch of people. So we just kind of, we want to walk you through, our journeys and our mistakes, because I can tell you, I am the queen of horrible first impressions. So I think I have enough, embarrassing stories to say what not to do. But I'm fading fast. I'm fading fast. When I get tired, I blank out. The point is, it's October 8th. It's $45. You can go to my link tree and book that. I am having a 1-month special on my vocal lessons right now. Also, don't forget I have a membership program at $6.97 a month. There's a bunch of videos in there. Oh my gosh, but my Develop the Artist Within You showcase, if you guys are here in Atlanta or want to be here in Atlanta, I would love for you to be part of my showcase and my conference here in Atlanta. It's going to be amazing, just like it was last year, if not more amazing. So yeah, I think I said it was $45. Everything I said was different prices. James Dodge. How are you, Jay? Soon as I seen that bass, what do I need to do to sound more like Prince? Bye, Jay. I think I sound more like Michael Jackson. Bye, Jay. You're funny. What is the difference between a tenor, baritone for male singers? Can you elaborate more on this topic? And how can I know whether my voice is under these voice types? From a technical standpoint, it has to do with your range. I haven't studied tenors enough to be like, oh, it's this to this, but I think a tenor is like a C. Don't get me the line, child. I want to say C5, but I think I'm pushing it. The point is, there are ranges. And the baritone range starts lower. And then they start mixing at a lower pitch than tenors do. So tenors are able to do full belts for a much longer time, and their range doesn't go as low necessarily, typically, as baritones. But if you have a lower range and you're able to, and you start mixing at a lower, so here's the thing, men are chest heavy. So what I'm saying is you're TA dominant, and then you just have a few notes, like maybe 4 notes, 4 half steps worth, where you're mixing before you go into like a head voice or a falsetto. So tenors are able to sing in a full chest much higher than baritones are. Baritones start mixing earlier. That's the easiest way without me having to pull out my notes and actually look at my pedagogy stuff to see the exact notes that those are. Because if I start talking about like exact, I think it's an E flat 4 to an A, like, yeah, I'm just gonna be making stuff up. So that's the best way I can do it off the top of my head. How high can I belt? Aside from that mysterious G that I did years ago, a good day, like a really good day, is an F. But usually at E flat to an E is like where I like to go to and then come back off of it. And when I say belt, I'm not talking about like Christina Aguilera, like go the distance. I will find my way. No, we're talking about like something where you hit it and quit. So yeah, like an E flat 5 or something like that. But where do my belts like to live? Keep me in that little A4 zone right there. Give me a nice little A4. Your girl will be happy. Give me an F4. I'm really happy. Yeah, it was very beautiful. Thank you. It was very beautiful and it never happened again. I tried. I don't know what sauce I had that day. I'm glad I caught it on camera. I can mix a lot higher. I mix a lot through my range, but yes, my head voice, mix and head voice, I want to say maybe an E flat 6. I mean, if you're going all the way up, I want to say I stop at about an E6 or an E flat 6, somewhere in there. I don't know. Something like that. I don't really know what you're asking when you say like mix. I think I know what you're asking. Like more of a pushed head voice sound. Maybe a G5. I really don't know. Like, when I say I don't know, like, I don't know. I don't really clock my voice necessarily like that in a way. How much music theory should I know before taking voice lessons? You don't necessarily need music theory to take voice lessons. They're two very different disciplines. The only reason you would need theory is if you're doing something with like sheet music and you want to be able to read your sheet music. You want to be kind of literate and be able to look at it and know what you're looking at. Then I would say, yeah, you should probably take up some theory just so you know the basics of this is the staff, this is a clef, these are key signatures, these are quarter notes, eighth notes, rests, all of that good stuff. But they're very different disciplines. So I don't think you need to catch up on one to do well in the other. Vocal types can be confusing because they're misnomers most of the time. And the thing that would make it more clear is it just is not going to be popular, which is, hey, is this TA dominant or is this CT dominant? Am I engaging my arytenoids? Those are better labels for what is actually happening. But people pretty much label the voice based on the sympathetic vibrations. Oh, I feel sympathetic vibrations in my forehead, so this is head voice. I feel the sympathetic vibrations in my chest, so it's my chest voice. And that can be incredibly confusing, especially when we start talking about belting and mixing, because you have the classical technique that's been around for hundreds of years, and then you have these contemporary techniques who want to separate themselves from classical technique, and so they redefine terms in order to just be different, which just confuses it. And the reason why I say it just confuses people is because the voice is the voice is the voice. You can't rebrand how a body part works. It's a physical human body part. It doesn't just rebrand it. I think classical teachers should know what belting technique is, and I feel like contemporary teachers should know what classical technique is, because it all affects how we're using our voice, all of it. People should know how to just use their voice, period. They should stop taking all these labels off and just know, how does the voice work? And what do I want it to now do for me? How am I going to use that information to create the sounds that I want? I love it. I hear overtones in your voice that make me feel you could belt higher, but it seems your healthy technique keeps you grounded and realistic because you stay smart. Here's the other, I never hear overtones. I don't hear nothing. Thank you though. I do know when I'm ringing. Um, you think I could belt higher than an E5? That's high. Like, how much higher does anybody need to belt? Why do we need to belt higher than that? I mean, listen, that's my lot. I'm okay with my lot. Why does anyone need to belt higher than an E5? Why? Why are we belting higher than that? Who there's no award. There's no trophy for the highest belting. Okay. The FOC system is indeed an oversimplification. Oh my gosh, look at all these. Hi everyone. I'm about to say, you about to. Oh, that's funny. That I hated singing that Love and War, but thank you. In the bell console method, most people have the same range, however, you access different areas. Right. I think the Fox system is an oversimplification, because it's a way to just put people in certain roles. But at the end of the day, humans are all very unique. And so that's why we start, because they do oversimplify it, and then it's like, oh, she's a Douglas soprano. She's a this soprano. She's a that soprano. And at the end of the day, you just gotta let people's voices be their voices. You know, we're not filling roles at this point. We are just being ourselves. And so it's important to know what our voice just sounds like and how our voices work. And that's really how I approach it. I approach it more as vocal teaching, as I'm going to help you just discover your sound. And then I'm going to allow you to choose what you want to do with this instrument that you've now figured out how to use. Whatever it is you want to do. What do you want to do today? Sing jazz? Okay. Based on what we've discovered about how your instrument works, what kind of keys should be, what keys should be singing, what this, what that. And that's how I approach it. Oh, thank you. That's the problem. That's the problem with it. What if you don't feel the clear vibrations? Like I remember when they were teaching me to sing in the mask, oh, you're supposed to feel buzz here. I don't feel nothing. Just tell me when I'm doing it right, because I don't feel anything in my face. Nothing. It's like, I mean, if you're forcing me to feel something, I guess I will feel it just because you're telling me I should. But if I'm honest, I don't feel jack. So you're right. Sometimes you don't feel it. So that's why it's not really reliable, right? By the way, I love your hair. She wasn't a mezzo. Aretha was never a mezzo. You said that's exactly why I love your teaching. Hi, Eddie. Right. I personally love Jasmine Sullivan. I was thinking about her today, and I put this on my Instagram, and I will say it again. I think Jasmine Sullivan is the modern Aretha Franklin. I think if Aretha Franklin were born in a different era, she would sing like Jasmine Sullivan. And I think if Aretha, maybe was younger or whatever, had committed herself to sing like Jasmine, she could. And I think their voices move the same way. And they were both gifted with this ability to kind of belt, but it's like enough head voice, enough CT, enough cricothyroid functionality, engagement, that it's not a heavy belt. It's like they're belting, but it's just such a light belt, and their voices go higher than you expect it to, and they just don't get tired. I love that about their voices. Anita Baker has that ability as well. So does Shaka Khan. It's like their belts are just very ethereal. Um, I don't even know why I brought that up. Thank you so much for taking time to answer my questions. I look forward to taking voice lessons again. Have a great night. Have a good night, Natasha. This is true. Wanted something different. Hi, Will, my lovely friend. I have a friend who's an opera singer. We started in chorus together in school. She said she doesn't sing in choirs anymore because, I agree. I don't love choirs either, and I stopped loving choirs. Oh, maybe I was 14 because of that very thing. You have to manipulate your voice. You have to sing with less vibrato. As much as I'm a trained soprano, and in college I always sang alto one or alto two because as a soprano my voice stuck out because there's no way that that tone is going to blend in a college choir. It was too mature, it had too much color, it was too developed. So they went ahead and just used the warmth in my voice to have me sing alto two until they wanted a solo or a descant part on a spiritual or something like that. Then they would skip over all them sopranos and be like, Delisa, can you sing the high part? And then, I wouldn't have a whole lot of friends that day. But yeah, I agree with your friend. Once you're trained operatically, you are not gonna enjoy singing in the choir. Well, she may enjoy singing it if she's singing alto, is what I'm saying. But even in alto, what starts to happen because they want that meat. So sometimes you start pushing your tone, and then your voice gets tired. So it's like, okay, if I sing high, for me, even though I'm a soprano, I don't necessarily have the highest tessitura. So singing high in a choral setting where you're just like, especially with a vibrato, it's like you just want to punch your face in because it starts to build up a lot of tension. So it's just easier to sing lower, except when they want more. They want you to sing louder. The problem is sopranos don't have a booming middle register. So sometimes they want you to sing louder, and then that causes problems. I agree on the choir. I'm a second tenor, and they put me on bass purely because someone had to, and I had the richest voice. Yeah, yeah. And they don't care that your voice is getting tired singing bass because you're a tenor. They don't care. Train your voice now. I wish I knew who this was because you put LOL. But listen, guys, I am so tired. It was so much fun talking to you guys. I haven't done this in so long. So thank you for hanging out with me. I really, really appreciate it. I'm going to try to come back sooner than later to hang out with you guys again. Hi, Nelson. And again, thank you. And we'll talk soon. God bless. Bye.